The collapse of the Assad regime has prompted a punishing military response from Israel, which has launched airstrikes at military targets across Syria. Israel has deployed ground troops both into and beyond a demilitarized buffer zone for the first time in 50 years. The Israeli military said it had carried out about 480 strikes across the country over the last 2 days, hitting most of Syria's strategic weapons stockpile. In fact, Defense Minister Katz said that the Israeli Navy had destroyed the Syrian fleet overnight, hailing the operation as what he claims a great success. Israel has said that it is striking suspected chemical weapon sites and heavy weapons to prevent them from falling into the hands of extremists. Israel had captured the Golan Heights from Syria in the 1967 Middle Eastern War and annexed it in a move not recognized internationally except for the United States. The rest of the world also views the strategically important plateau as occupied Syrian territory. Egypt, Qatar and Saudi Arabia have condemned the recent Israeli incursion and strikes, accusing it of exploiting the disorder in Syria and violating international law. And joining them was Turkey's foreign ministry, who said in a statement, and I quote, "We strongly condemn Israel's violation of the 1974 Separation of Forces Agreement, its entry into the separation zone between Israel and Syria, and its advance into Syrian territory." Turkey has accused Israel of quote-unquote displaying a mentality of an occupier at a time when the possibility of peace and stability had emerged in Syria. This statement also reiterates Turkey's unconditional support for Syria's sovereignty, political unity and territorial integrity. So what does Israel gain by striking Syria? Israel has justified its attacks on Syria for years by claiming that it is eliminating Iranian military targets. However, Iran has said that none of their forces are currently in Syria. But Israel is focused on destroying Syrian military infrastructure. Israel says that it has targeted military facilities including weapon warehouses, ammunition depots, airports, naval bases and research centers. Israel has also deployed military units to the buffer zone along the Golan Heights separating Syria and Israel. The terrain has been an officially designated demilitarized zone as part of a 1974 UN-brokered ceasefire deal. Israel occupies approximately two-thirds of the Golan Heights with the UN-administered buffer zone that spans a narrow 400 square kilometer area, and the rest has been controlled by Syria. In fact, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the former Syrian territory along the Golan Heights, which has been classed as a demilitarized zone since 1974, will remain part of Israel for eternity. While defending the recent attacks on Syria, Israel maintains that their intention is solely to target suspected chemical weapon sites and long-range rocket sites, only to prevent their seizure by armed groups opposed to Israel's ongoing offensives on its neighbors. And what does Israel want from Syria? Well, no one really has much clarity on that. The incursions, many say, are neither justified nor necessary. There is still no word from Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, on the recent strikes as well. He has already expressed no interest in starting or getting into another new war. The leader of the rebel group has assured the world that there is nothing to fear. In fact, the leader of HTS, the rebel group that has led the charge to oust President Bashar al-Assad last week, has pledged, and I quote, to hold accountable members of the Assad regimes who were involved in torturing the Syrian people. HTS, in fact, has been regarded as one of the most effective and deadly of the groups against President Assad. It was proscribed as a terror group by the United Nations and the United States, Turkey and other countries, and it also remains even now. There were doubts at the time, and some still remain, over whether HTS had completely renounced its links with the Al-Qaeda. But its message in the last 1 week has been that of inclusiveness and a rejection of violence. Now, how Syria's political future develops will also depend on the group's intentions and capabilities, along with the other competing pressures from other groups, as major outside powers are focusing on the developments in Syria. With the ouster of Assad, there is a risk of intra-rebel clashes as well. There are also fears that the Islamic State, which once had taken over vast swathes of territory in Syria, would also seek to exploit the disorder and chaos and probably make a comeback.